see the article when I... Yeah, okay. Let's do Infinite Ikea. You like Infinite Ikea? SCP-3008? You guys read it okay? I can make it bigger. Item number SCP-3008. Object class Euclid. Oh, this is great. I would love to just read scary stories. I think that's a good idea. Let's start with this one, then I'll read another. If you're not familiar, Euclid class is like contained. It means it's contained, stably contained. They have the procedures that they have are in place, and if, you know, as long as everything's done correctly, nobody's gonna die. Okay. Anyway, special containment procedures. The retail park containing SCP-3008 has been purchased by the Foundation and converted into site redacted. All public roads leading to or passing by the site redacted have been redirected. The entrance to SCP-3008 is to be monitored at all times. No one is to enter SCP-3008 outside of testing, as permitted by the senior researcher. Yeah, some level of unpredictability, but usually if they follow the procedures, usually a Euclid class is more or less contained. Safe class usually don't really need as much special containment. Humans exiting SCP-3008 are to be detained and then debriefed prior to the administration of amnestics. Dependent on the duration of their stay in SCP-3000, a cover story might be needed to generate prior to their release. Yes, most of them were just objects. You're right. Any other entities exiting SCP-3008 are to be terminated. This is a formative piece of literature. I mean, I feel like a lot of the backrooms just can be traced back. All that backrooms lore can be traced back to SCP-3008. Honestly, this is an important piece of literature, in my opinion. Okay, having another pita chip. Thanks, guys. I just need it for my tummy. SCP-3008. The description of SCP-3008. It's a large retail unit previously owned by and branded as Ikea, a popular furniture retail chain. A person entering SCP-3008 through the main entrance and then passing out of sight of the doors will find themselves translocated to SCP-3008-1. Hi, John. What's going on, John? Good to see you. It's my spooky stream. Johnson. Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, I'm 3D today. I didn't have another spooky avatar, so we're going with 3D today. Someday maybe I'll have other spooky avatars. Having another pita chip. Today I'm having pu'er tea. I'm waiting for its effects to heal me of my migraine and nausea. Well, actually, nausea is a symptom of migraine, I believe. I've been very bad with my health. I've been making very bad decisions. And I continue to make bad decisions. But I'm going to try to make good decisions. We're talking about how when somebody enters this this place that, you know, formerly was branded as Ikea, they're transported. Yeah, submerged castle theme place. Well, I think a good decision that I made was asking to work less hours, because it's just too much for me. But because of my people-pleasing tendencies, it can be hard for me to ask for the things that I need. So when people get mad or whatever, I feel it makes me feel very stressed out, even though it doesn't really matter. Okay. Once they enter through the main entrance and pass out of sight, they find themselves translocated to SCP-3008-1. This displacement will typically go unnoticed, as no change will occur from the perspective of the victim. They'll generally not become aware until they try to return to the entrance. SCP-3008-1 is a space resembling the inside of an IKEA furniture store, extending far beyond the limits of what could physically be contained within the dimensions of the retail unit. Current measurements indicate that it's at least an area of 10 kilometers squared, with no visible and external terminators detected in any direction. Inconclusive results from the use of laser rangefinders has led to the speculation that the space might be infinite. Yes, there should be a Fleshman SCP. There he is. SCP-3008-1 is inhabited by an unknown number of civilians trapped within prior to containment. Gathered data suggests they may have formed a rudimentary civilization with SCP-3008-1, including the construction of settlements and fortifications for the purpose of defending against SCP-3008-2. SCP-3008-2 are humanoid entities that exist within SCP-3008-1. While superficially resembling humans, they possess exaggerated and inconsistent bodily proportions, often being described as being too short or too tall, and they possess no facial features, and in all observed cases, they wear a yellow shirt and blue trousers consistent with the IKEA employee uniform. My goodness. SCP-3008-1 has a rudimentary day-night cycle, determined by the overhead lighting within the space, activating and deactivating at times consistent with the opening and closing times of the original retail store. During the night instances of SCP-3008-2, during the night instances, oh, there should be a comma there. During the night, comma, instances of SCP-3008-2 will become violent towards all other life forms within SCP-3008-1. During these bouts of violence, they have been heard to vocalize phrases in English that are typically variations of, "The store is now closed. Please exit the building." Once day begins, SCP-3008-2 instances immediately become passive and begin moving throughout SCP-3008-1 seemingly at random. They're unresponsive to questioning or other verbal cues in this state, though will react violently if attacked. Well, I would too. Is this Metroid music, Horza? Having another pizza chip. Do you like these games, Forza? Ooh, SCP-3008-1 is known to have one or more exits located within, though these exits do not appear to have a fixed position, making it difficult to leave SCP-3008-1 once inside. Using any other door besides the main entrance to enter the structure or breaking through the walls of the retail unit leads into the non-anomalous interior of the original store. So you could break through the wall into regular Ikea, or you could use any of the doors beside the main entrance. Any other door besides the main entrance. Huh. Since containment began, 14 individuals have managed to exit SCP-3008. Following extensive debriefing, all individuals have been administered amnestics and release. I wouldn't want to remember either. Oh, we have some incidents, unfortunately. That's what you see with Euclids. There's always something goes wrong with Euclids. Here was this incident 3008-1 at 37 minutes on this redacted day in the early aughts. A human man exited SCP-3008, followed 10 seconds later by an instance of SCP-3008-2. SCP-3008-2 caught and killed the man before itself being terminated by armed response personnel. So you can kill the IKEA workers in Infinite IKEA. This incident represents the only time an instance of SCP-3008-2 has been seen exiting SCP-3000. A full autopsy on the corpse was performed, and see SCP-3008-2 autopsy log for more details. The man was carrying an IKEA-branded journal, seeming to document his time in SCP-3000. Ooh, transcribe below verbatim. Guys. There's also an audio version? Am I getting this right? Somebody made an audio version of it? Oh no, it's licensing. Do you want to hear the first-person story? You don't like Men in Black? You don't want a nice man to make you forget? I sure do. I intentionally try to forget sometimes. I'm definitely feeling a little bit better with the tea, but you know, it's shaky. Do you want to hear the first person account of the exploration of Infinite IKEA? I don't think you would want to work at the SCP Foundation, Mark. I agree, Mark is my favorite merchant. Oh, the audio thing is just part of the roleplay, it's not actual audio? Oh. Okay. I'll read it. Okay. So this guy, the guy got trapped in IKEA and they found his journal after he got killed by one of the IKEA workers. Do you want to see a picture of them? Okay, some people have drawn pictures. There's been some. Yeah. They definitely give kind of like Attack on Titan, Slender Man, strange creatures. They look like thumbs. The image was deleted. I don't know why they give him the wrinkly faces. I like the muscly one. I'm looking respectfully. Okay, anyway. Do you guys want to see it a little bit? There we go. This looks better, right? Doesn't it? So I'm writing this document. What I can only assume is my sudden descent into insanity. I can't possibly be that bad a navigator. And yet, as I write this, I've been trapped in Ikea for 2 days. Haven't seen another person the entire time I've been here. Thought it was a prank at first. Turn the place into a maze, get all the people out, see how long it takes me to get lost, and everybody has a good old laugh. Realized that wasn't the case when I tried to backtrack. Everything had changed. So I ended up lost. Instead of the exit, it was just row after row of old bookcases. So I'm trapped in Ikea. It sounds like the setup for a bad joke. The lights went out at 10 p.m. Nearly gave me a fucking heart attack. That loud electrical thunk sound, then pitch blackness. Place is full of beds. So my phone has a torch on it, but no damn signal. So I found a bed and went to sleep. Spent most of the next day trying to find my way out with no luck. Did find a restaurant serving those meatballs though, so at least I won't starve. That's probably the punchline to that joke. Anyway, they were still warm and fresh, but I haven't seen anyone around who could have cooked them. Made my way back to the beds before the lights cut out, since it's too dark to search with them off. It's 9:10 a.m. now. The lights came back on a little while ago. Sure, I've searched the entire area around where I came in now. The exit obviously isn't here, so I'm gonna pick a direction and hope for the best. Day 3 of my magical IKEA mystery adventure. If I wasn't sure that there was something seriously weird about this place before, I am now. Walked for 3 hours in a more or less straight line. Insert IKEA joke here. Before I came across a ladder next to one of those huge stock shelves they have here. Climbed up to get my bearings, and looked like this place just stretches on forever. Like that scene from The Lion King, except instead of trees and grass, it was all shelves and tables and crap. Ooh! Everything the light touches. Yeah, I like that idea, climbing up one of the little shelves to get a look, and it just goes on and on. Did see a person moving not too far away, though, so I headed over. Thought it was a staff member at first. It was wearing the uniform. And hell, maybe it was. Maybe freakish 7-foot-tall monsters with long arms, short legs, and no faces are just kind of things they have working at Super IKEA. They didn't completely ignore me, though. No eyes or ears. Can't even be sure I knew I was there. Thought about shoving it or something to get his attention, but his hands are big enough to crush a watermelon, so I decided against it. Just kept moving along, and eventually lost sight of it, so I decided to carry on the way I was going. Anyway, no comfy bed for me tonight. Looks like I've entered the improbably hard and pointy table section of the store. We'll have to make do with some bunched up tablecloths. Home battery died during the day too. Didn't work anyway. I feel like I just lost some vital lifeline. You ever see one of those cartoons where they're going through the door in a hallway and they just pop out another door in the same hallway? That's how I feel right now. Oh, like Scooby-Doo. I've seen nothing but the same identical bookshelf for 2 days now. Just row after row after row of them. I mean, come on. I love books as much as the next guy, but this is excessive. I'm obviously still moving forward, though. I see signs hanging overhead passing by. Too bad none of them say exit. Not sure who I was addressing that question to. Let's just say it was practice for the autobiography I'm going to write when I get out of here. I'll call it my perfectly normal trip to a regular old IKEA. If I ever get out of it, he crossed it out. Oh, poor thing. And not have too many. That's right, Mark. That's right, Mark. We have lucidity. I like this kind of like early aughts creepypasta style writing. It kind of throws me back a little bit. Imagine some, like, some savvy high schooler or college student, you know? I don't know. Something charming about the kind of bravado of this random guy's journal. I don't know. Having more pita chips, I apologize. I love reading if you guys ever have any other stuff you would like me to read. Today might just be a good reading day because I don't really feel too much like gaming. Any kind of scary story, anything like that. Sorry for making you guys pick my content. Reading your car manual, good idea. I'll read my bicycle. I never read my bike manual. I'm not a good motorist. I'm definitely feeling better after having some tea. I'm addicted. I have an addiction. It's fine. I'm finally starting to feel like a human again. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. All of you. I hope that you have a very spooky Halloween. Anything I could do to make it more spooky, please let me know. I'm here. Okay, there we go. Looks like this gentleman found some other people. Finally! Found some other people! Yeah, turns out I'm not the only poor bastard trapped in here. Lucky for me, I guess. My 6th night here. 2 of those staff came at me in the dark. Oof. Different from the first one I saw, but still messed up. I heard them coming. They were saying that the store was closed and I had to leave the building all nice and polite like. I'm not sure which part of that was weirder. But they don't have mouths, or they were apparently trying to kill me while they were saying it. Came at me like rabid dog. Enjoy your car manual, Mark. So I legged it. Sprinting through Ikea in the dark like a fucking madman. I saw it when I cleared another stand, those giant stock shelves all lit up with torches and floodlights. They built a whole town in there. Got a massive wall built out of shelves and beds and tables and whatever else. I swear to God, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Anyway, I guess they saw me coming. Or maybe they heard my girlish, crossed out, manly bellows of fear. Because they had a gate open and 2 people were there waving me in. I heard the staff thing slam into the gate behind me after it closed, still politely informing us all that the store was now closed. They wandered off eventually, though. They call the town Exchange, because that's what's on the sign hanging from the ceilings directly above it. Exchange and returns. All lit up against the night using lights they found and plugged into power lines. And there are beds and food and people, over 50 wonderful people with regular-sized limbs and a full set of facial features. Now my 7th night here, and the first one not spent in darkness. A full week living in Ikea. There's probably a TV show in that somewhere. Now that I'm around other people, I'm starting to feel more normal. Maybe normal isn't the word. But after a week with only the sound of my own footsteps for company, I was becoming increasingly sure that I'd just gone nuts. I was tied up in some padded room somewhere, banging my head against the wall. But no, I feel quite sane now, thank you very much. Apparently, there are other towns out there. Some with more people, some with less. I found that fairly mind-boggling. How can there... How can that many people go missing with no one noticing? Surely someone would have noticed that everyone who goes to Ikea seems to fucking vanish. Or maybe it's not everyone. Maybe we're just the lucky ones. Ooh. The lucky ones who get to vanish. Oh, I understand. You're being sarcastic. You're so silly. You're so silly. You say that you're lucky to be lost in infinite Ikea, but you mean that sarcastically. Oh my god, guys, I have such good social skills. What do you mean different content tolerances? I can definitely read much more intense stuff than I can watch. I don't like watching really graphic stuff, but I can read it. I feel like that's pretty common. My dad is airdropping a photo. Hold on. Whatever. The people here just called those staff monster things the staff. Apparently they're fine during the day, minding their own business, walking the aisles. As soon as those lights go out, though, they go fucking bonkers. During the day, people go out to find food, water, whatever else they need. Apparently there are restaurants and shops around that randomly get restocked. No one knows how. Maybe the staff do it. Apparently they aren't very good at their job, though, because restocking sometimes takes a while, which means the food needs to be rationed. Got a little bit of, like, survival, post-apocalyptic horror there. Maybe if they weren't so busy chasing people around in the dark, they'd get more done. Anyway, when the night comes, the staff go nuts and everyone holds up inside the walls. Apparently it's the same everywhere in this place. Whatever this is. The Ikea, from whence all other Ikeas sprang. I don't understand what that means. The Ikea. Is that what's that a reference to? Or maybe we're all still in the regular Ikea. And this is also a fever dream brought on by mind-numbing boredom. Who knows? I don't get that. Been here for 10 days now. Most of the people I asked said they stopped keeping track a long time ago, and one guy, Chris, said he's been here for years. An old term for the first of it ever? Really? Like the flagship? A prototype? Like the Starbucks in Portland, Orza? Am I using this correctly? The Dragon? Oh my god. Backrooms. Yes. Oh, that makes sense. Because the Backrooms fiction comes from this story. Yes. Okay, okay. Been here for 10 days now. Most of the people I asked said they stopped keeping track a long time ago. One guy, Chris, said he's been here for years. Years. Illegible scribbles. Somebody got upset. Apparently, there are rumors of people who do manage to get out. And of people who see the exit, only to have it vanish before their very eyes. I get the feeling not everyone believes that, but I do. Explains how we got stuck in here in the first place, sort of. I mean, come on. Staff monsters, row after endless row of high-quality Swedish furniture. I don't know why they'd find a disappearing door so hard to believe in. Anyway, I went out scavenging for food at a nearby shop with Sandra and Jerry today, and once you... I don't know why I'm making him gay. I'm sorry. It's just me. Sorry, I'm having my tea. Horror literature to be MLP fanfic? Well, why not? I will let you know I was not a brony, but I'll happily read it as long as there's, what's the word? As long as there's nothing unsafe for, what's the word? This is an 18+ space, but still, remember, Just remember this is the internet and there's, you know, there's there could always be youngins. Always young people somewhere. Be nice to my inner child. Anyway. So, I went to a nearby shop with Sandra and Jerry today, and once you learn the landmarks this place... Sorry, he's not gay. He's very obviously a straight guy. It's not too hard to navigate. The overhead signs help a lot, but there are others not too far in the distance. A huge section of those giant stock shelves have collapsed against each other. Ooh, way off in the distance, in the east. We all assume it's east. Anyway, Ikea doesn't sell compasses, apparently, so some kind of tower that looks like it's made of wood reaches all the way to the ceiling. Maybe they were trying to break out through the roof. Lights up at night, so there must be people there, but it's apparently a few days' walk, which means it must be miles away. So nobody here really knows for sure. And apparently I got incredibly lucky sleeping out in the open for a week without getting ripped to bits by the staff. That's me. Lucky, lucky, lucky. Your inner child wouldn't care about seeing something bad happen to a pony. I don't think I really want to see anything bad happen to a pony, Mark, honestly. My vibes are not... Yeah, no violence towards ponies. That's what I'll say. If you're picking MLP fanfic, just I don't want anything bad to happen to a pony. In pain. Difficult to do. No, you can have bad things happen to random straight guys. Like this story. That's great. We found some food in the shop. Guess the staff had restocked it during the night, which was nice of them. There was a telephone on the wall, so I figured out I'd try it out. There was a voice on the other end. They were just talking nonsense. Random words strung together with no real meaning. You ever see a video of someone with aphasia? It sounded kind of like that. They didn't answer me when I spoke to them anyway. Sandra says all the phones in here are all the same. Harder to search on AO3. Yes, ponies. Things where nothing bad happens to pony, but perfectly okay if bad thing happens to random straight guy. I just don't want to see ponies in pain. It's kind of like seeing a little child in pain. It makes me sad. I don't like to see cute little ones, little sweet cute ones, in pain or in struggling. It makes me like really upset. But you know, honestly, who's gonna be there for these tough, you know, these tough, big, strong, powerful, you know, rugged men, you know? Who's gonna empathize with them? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they can be cute and soft inside, you know, like maybe there isn't really an equivalent that makes you upset. You don't get upset when you see somebody in pain. I guess it's not right that I'm more sensitive to seeing cute little things in pain. I guess that's not necessarily good. Because, you know, big, strong things also need somebody to empathize with them. A real live death. That sounds oxymoronic, Mark. Have you ever listened to somebody with aphasia talking? Sometimes I talk nonsense. It struggles. I think it confuses my friends. Please don't look up anything that scares you, Mark. So there's phones where people just saying blah 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 on the phones. Hi, Penelope. Penelope, please do not disconnect my any of my stuff. I agree. I really struggle with horrible socials. That's why sometimes I avoid I avoid I avoid live action, honestly.
So you have it on Vimeo and nothing better. Twitch, also Scratch. It's good.
Penelope's a real fan, Mark, just so you know. Penelope played your Pikmin stream in my ear. Well, I'm not a true brony, so ponies are still ponies to me. Do you have a pony Sona, Mark? Okay, there we go. I can still hear Mark talking. Penelope crawled into my lap and then turned on your stream somehow. Okay. By the way, thank you for keeping me company as I slowly recover from my migraine with pita chips and pu'er tea. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys all for being here. Ooh, this is scary music. So we were just talking about the phone lines that say blah blah blah. I was thinking last night, the ceiling on this place is pretty high. As far as anyone can tell, it goes on forever. Shouldn't there be some kind of weather in here? Yeah, Hordza, you were telling me about the mall. The Mall of America has weather control. I'm sure I read about some NASA building that was so big it had its own weather patterns with clouds and stuff. This place is definitely bigger than that. Now I think about it, I'm pretty sure I've never felt so much as a temperature change in here. I'll add it to the grand list of weird bullshit. I'm sure we can find something that you'd like. You had some good ideas about cryptids and scary stories. You were telling me you sent me this website last Halloween, if I remember correctly, Mark. This song is N's theme from Black and White, Pokemon Black and White. I love N. I've always really loved N. I don't remember last year you sent me this website, Mark. This is N. N's really N really was kind of an underexplored character because he has this whole thing about not wanting to like fight, not wanting to like use the Pokemon, take advantage of Pokemon, but then he winds up actually fighting with Pokemon on his team. So he's kind of underexplored as a villain in Pokemon. You sent me this website with scary stories and like old like scary. I remember there was the one thing where you would tie a ribbon to a banana tree, tie a red ribbon to a banana tree to like curse someone, to curse yourself, or like kind of like very Bloody Mary coded things, like weird games you could play. Most dangerous games. Yeah, you sent me that last year. That was scary. I honestly found that very scary. I would like to read some more of that. Penelope, don't bite me. Don't come on my lap, play Mark's stream when I'm trying to listen to scary Pokemon music, and then bite me. Horza, if you're listening, you always tell me how the Mall of America has its own weather control, but apparently Infinite Ikea has even better weather control. The staff attacked the exchange last night. Must have been about 20 or 30 of them. 20 or 30 of them all just asking us to leave the store calm as you like, while trying to smash the walls down with their bare hands. Apparently, this happens pretty regularly, so everyone's prepared for it. Knives from one of the restaurants, lawnmower blades made into hatchets, a fire axe. A fire axe? Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Like for cutting doors down and stuff. One guy, Wasim, even made a functional crossbow. Anyway, the walls have holes in them. which I hadn't noticed before specifically, so we can stab out at the staff when they attack. Ooh. Took a couple of them down myself. They don't seem to bleed, which is weird, but they go down as easy as a regular person once you start sticking holes in them. The Terrible Secret of Animal Crossing? What is that? Ooh, there are scary Animal Crossing towns. We should do that. You're working on a deck? Is it another theme deck, Horza? I hope it's fun. I liked your Terra deck. I played against Horza's Final Fantasy deck a couple of days ago. It was really nice. Penelope, stop playing Mark's stream, please. I know you're a fan, but please stop playing it. Oh, I know that terraforming deck. I don't really care for it. I guess Penelope's a real fan of yours, Mark. I don't... When I was little, like just going into college, late high school, going into college, I read a comic called Black Adventures. It's definitely dated because the first couple pages they were using this thing where, you know, I don't need, I'm kind of showing my ass here, but it was like doubles on 4chan or trips or doubles or whatever would get to pick what the next frame of the comic would be, and obviously it went the exact direction that you think that would go. But then they eventually made, you know, a little cute little yaoi comic out of it. The art style was just very cute, and they made N into this kind of bimbo, which I remember kind of liking. It was just kind of, you know, it was of its era, I guess. There wasn't a lot of Pokemon boys love content back in the day. Now there's probably plenty Pokemon boys love. Okay, enough of me showing my ass. Figuratively. We had to haul the bodies away in the morning. Apparently the dead ones will attract more during the night, so we had to get them out from the exchange. We have a couple of those trolley things they used to move big boxes around, so we loaded them up and took them over to pickup. Apparently, people just name everything in here after whatever sign is hanging overhead. Pickup was grisly. Pickup is, wait, is it called Pickup? Yeah, Pickup. Pickup is basically my station at work. What they call the register I work on. Saying. Apparently, in addition to not bleeding, these things don't rot either. My curiosity got the better of me while we were unloading them. I took a look at one of the more cut up ones. They're just skin. Something that looks like skin all the way through. No muscle, no bone, no organs. Are they really even alive in the first place? They certainly seem like they have bones when they're moving around, pounding on the walls. I'm sure I felt more resistance than just skin when the knife went in during the night. Maybe something happens to them when they die. There's one more thing on the ever-increasing list of weird shit that goes on in here, I guess. Something occurred to me after the staff attack the other night. Every time you see a situation like this on TV or in a film, like it's the end of the world or everyone's trapped on an island or whatever, once groups like ours start to form, people always seem to turn on each other. Fighting for food or dominance or whatever else. That hasn't happened here. Apparently, people from other towns come by from time to time just to check in, occasionally to trade if they're short on something. But everything is always cordial. Friendly, even. Maybe it's the threat of the staff, or perhaps the constant restocking of supplies in the shops means there's nothing much to fight over. Maybe people are just better than they're generally given credit for. That's a nice thought. I think I'll go with that one. That's so sweet. A little bit of human positivity in the scary backrooms fic. Oh my god, I love that. That's so nice. That really butters my muffin. A dozen people showed up at the gates this afternoon from a town called Trolleys. Apparently, staff broke through the walls and tore through the town. A fandom I like? Oh, I mean, I like Castlevania. I like Pokemon. I like Pikmin. I like Kirby. Mario. I love Mario. A Mario creepypasta would be fun. Uh, I mean, we could read Pokemon Lost Silver. Actually, why don't we read Pokemon Lost Silver? That might be fun. Or you could pick one, Mark. I'm inclined to read Pokemon Lost Silver, if you don't. I definitely used to find that one very scary. I think Lost Silver was a bit scarier than Creepy Black. There's two pretty famous Pokemon creepypastas. We might do that. We might read one that Mark finds. If you find like a I don't know if there's any scary Kirby stories. Or Pikmin. Imagine scary Pikmin stories. The submerged castle is already creepy enough. Animal Crossing is good. I would read the Animal Crossing one. If you want to watch this if you want to read the scary Animal Crossing one, I might like that, Mark. So people showed up at the gates from a town called Trolleys, and apparently the staff broke through the walls and tore the town apart during the night. Like, there were 12. The 12 people that showed up are the only survivors out of over 100. Let them in, obviously. One more point in the human decency column. Later, I asked if anyone knew how many of these towns there were out there. Between us and the new folks, we managed to come up with over 20 names. 20 towns filled with people, and who knows how many beyond that. The motto for this place should be, how was that even possible? Surely someone somewhere must be looking for the thousands of people that must be in here. Guys, can we just wait for a moment? I was not expecting to read, you know, a piece of like human optimism, this like pro-human, pro-community, pro-like humankind message when I read a scary story today. You know? The motto for this place should be, how is that even possible? Surely someone somewhere must be looking for the thousands of people that must be in here. You guys like Majora's Mask? I definitely want to play with you guys someday. I want to play so many different Zelda games. I'm a huge Zelda fan. I don't know if there's any Zelda creepypasta out there. Oh, wow. I've been here for a little over 2 months now. Not that much changes, as it turns out. A couple of new people showed up. Same story as the rest of us. Nice little trip to Ikea, and suddenly they're traveled in Billy Bookcase's House of Faceless Weirdos. The staff attack the exchange once or twice a week. We kill them, haul their bodies off. Sometimes they hurt some of us first. They killed a guy called Jared a couple weeks back. It was awful, frankly. Turns out, regular humans still bleed in here, even if the staff don't. We tried our best, but none of us are doctors. Jared was a good guy. He deserved better. We all do. It occurred to me a couple days ago after that, none of us were really looking for a way out of here. I don't even know where we'd start. Huh. Oh yeah, we could read Ben. Well, Ben Drowned is kind of fusion, isn't it? Because Ben Drowned has videos. Ben Drowned, it has like a bit of like a modding component to it. The game Look Outside has a similar human optimism bent. That's good. I like this story. It's making me I feel very much like I'm kind of part of his community. Hola, ¿cómo está? ¿Has leído este? Scred, feliz Halloween. This is Plock. This is Plock, yeah. Okay, we'll read the Animal Crossing creepypasta after that. Espero que todo está yendo muy bien, Scren. We have quadcopters. Spooky Mon! I love SCP-3008. It, 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 it. Mark turned me on to this, this spooky album of, Plock sounds. Plock is a great game. Someday we have to play it. Muchas gracias, Grant. Muchas gracias. One of those quadcopters things with a camera attached buzzed past us. Buzzed past the exchange today. I thought it meant someone was finally looking for us. That help was on the way. Apparently, it's not the first time this has happened, though. Same thing happened a few months ago, and everyone is still here. No idea if it saw us. Didn't stop if it did. It just kept flying until we could no longer see it. Okay, based on recovery time of this journal, this entry appears to line up approximately with our first successful test pilot of a drone inside SCP-3081. Analysis of footage shows a walled settlement under the sign labeled Exchange and Returns. Attempts to relocate the settlement failed. Origin of previously sighted drones is unknown. Ooh. So there's other drones. There's somebody else is studying. Maybe. Do you think there might be like a Russian version of the SCP Foundation or something? That would be fun. Couple drones. They're hinting at there being other research foundations out there other than SCP. That's kind of interesting. Or maybe different SCP sites that don't really communicate with each other, kind of like American intelligence agencies. I started talking to people about stuff they missed from home during dinner today. Probably not the best idea I've ever had. Everyone seemed pretty down after. A bunch of people here have families. Husbands and wives, kids, dogs. Franklin apparently has a pet llama. No, I'm not sure I'll buy that. Whole groups of interest on the SCP site. Oh yeah, could be one of the other different groups. I remember reading a fiction about the artists who made these really interesting anomalies. That was a really interesting fiction. Scary Mario music, guys. Apparently, some of the people here have some seriously odd gaps in their knowledge. 3 of them have never heard of the International Space Station. 2 seem to think Redacted was the Prime Minister. And then 1 of them apparently never heard of the Statue of Liberty. I believe them too. They seem just as confused as the rest of us. Oh, okay. The more I thought about it, though, the more it started to explain a few things. What if the reason no one is looking for us, all us missing people, is because we haven't all come from the same place? Okay, no, it's just an SCP Foundation of a different reality. Mark. This is gonna sound weird, but maybe that should be the motto for this place. What if all the people here come from different dimensions, realities, whatever you call it? Seen enough TV shows to know the drill. Terra comes from a place where there's no Statue of Liberty. They didn't launch a space station where Wasim is from. If everyone here came from different places, even from ones that seem identical, there'd be no huge missing persons panic, no mass surge. It would just be a blip. Single missing person in a world of non-stop news. Well, that was a fun train of thought. So it's only just a couple people that go missing. And it's infinite because it's every Ikea ever, in every reality. That's kind of scary when you think about it. Just realized that yesterday was the 6-month anniversary of my arrival here. I wonder if Ikea sells party hats. The routine around here has remained more or less the same. Maybe new folk show up, one every couple weeks or so. Food supplies go up and down. We never actually had a major shortage. Occasionally we'll get a visitor from one of the nearby towns. Usually checkouts are aisle 630. We check in with each other from time to time. Occasionally trade supplies if someone gets particularly low on something. It's comforting in a way, a reminder that we aren't alone in here. Some small glimmer of civilization. Sometimes they bring medical supplies. Apparently there's a pharmacy a few towns down from checkout that gets restocked every now and then. So they share out what they can. I've never heard of an Ikea with a pharmacy before, but at this point I wouldn't be surprised if someone stumbled on an Ikea organ harvesting lab. Would certainly explain the staff. Whew. Speaking of our faceless jailers, their attacks have been getting worse lately. 3 or 4 times a week now, but twice as many staff as there used to be. No idea where they all come from or why the attacks have increased. We tried following one of them during the day a few weeks ago, me and Sarah. Waited to see if they lead back to a staff room or something. Didn't seem to go anywhere though, just randomly walking through the aisles. We had to turn back before we found anything. We've been reinforcing the walls, trying to arm ourselves better. Certainly no lack of materials to use. Wasim has been making more crossbows, but it's pretty slow going. I bet IKEA doesn't sell guns. Note, no new personnel have entered SCP-308 site blank, redacted in the time spent indicated in this entry. The attacks are getting bad now, almost every night. With so many staff, the bodies almost pile high enough for others to climb the walls. I think we're in real trouble here. Exchange is done. We got hit pretty bad last night. Not many casualties, but the wall is wrecked. We finally figured out why the attacks had been escalating too. A box of supplies had a chunk of one of the staff in there. No idea how it happened, but apparently a piece of one will draw them as well as a full body. Too late now in any case. Too many bodies for us to haul away and still have time to fix the wall before night. Candace has called a meeting. I suspect there will be talk of abandoning exchange, maybe try and get shelter at checkouts or something. It's already getting late though. I don't think we'll have any time to make it. Maybe some of us will. I was fine for that first week out in the dark after all, but then how often can I keep getting lucky? I'm only writing this for a sense of closure, I guess. For me or for anyone who finds this, if this is the final entry here, I hope whoever's reading this is doing so from outside of this place. My biggest fear, if I do die tonight, I'll just wake up again in the morning. Oh god. Oh god. Note, this is the last entry. It is assumed that while attempting to reach the checkout settlement, he was separated from the rest of his group by a pursuing SCP-3008-2 instance and happened upon the exit. And of course, it was mauled. By the only ever instance of SCP-3008-2 to leave, what's the word? Leave the item? Leave the SCP item? That was scary. In a half hour, I'm gonna feed Penelope. She seems fine right now. My migraine is more or less gone. That was a scary migraine. That was really bad.